Welcome to Course Creation Made Easy. I'm coming to you on YouTube and on Meet. Hopefully you're able to tune into at least one of these today. So today I'm going to teach you how to create your first coaching program or create a coaching program faster than you have been until now, and how to actually sell it. I'll also help you to choose a topic that people will be happy to pay you for, so you don't spend hours upon hours creating something that nobody actually buys. So my name is Stephanie O'Brien, and I know what it's like to spend hours upon hours upon hours on something. In fact, I've been a novelist ever since I was 12, finished my first full-length novel at the age of 12. So I've gotten a lot of experience in taking a huge amount of content and turning it into a step-by-step flow that people can easily follow and learn and find emotionally compelling. So in the case of coaching programs, they actually act on it. In fact, I've written 14 novels by now and 2 nonfiction books, one of which is 1 Month Program Builder for people who want to get their coaching program done really fast. So because of my long experience with writing, that's actually how I got into coaching. I went with my mom to coaching events to be the writer for her business. And in the process, I just fell in love with coaches, with coaching, with the way people like you are doing your best to make the world a better place, to make people's lives better, to be your best selves, and to make the world around you better than you found it. So I want to be part of that mission, and that's why I'm hosting this live stream today, to help you turn your life-changing expertise into a coaching program that can make people's lives better. Adjust the camera here a little bit. Okay, so we've got a lot to cover and only 60 minutes to do it, so let's get started. Make sure we're recording, get the recordings going. So before we get into this, I suggest that you have something to write down notes with, preferably a text processor, because that'll make it easier for you to take notes. I'm also going to have some slides up, and that way you can get an easy visual. And if you want the slides afterward, please let me know and I can send you the slides. Okay, so I'm going to start a screen share. I'm going to start a screen share on Meet, and I'm going to see if I can do it on YouTube. Sorry for those watching on YouTube. This is my first time doing a YouTube live, so I'm a little wet behind the ears. Let's see. Okay, so I hope everybody can see my screen on Meet. I'm just going to see if I can add a screen share on YouTube Live. Okay, I'm not seeing an easy way to do that. So yeah, for those who want the slides who are watching on YouTube, I can always send them to you later. So for now, hope you're seeing the slides on the YouTube Live. Or sorry, hope you're seeing it on Meet. So step 1 is to figure out the candidate topics. And what are the things that you're able to teach on? These could be stuff that you've healed in yourself, stuff that you've studied, stuff that you've gotten results in, stuff that people are coming to you for advice about. So I suggest you list out what are all the different things that you know how to teach people on. So those are your list of candidate topics. From there, we can refine it later to figure out what options people actually want. But start by listing the candidates that you can choose from. So next, see which of those subjects is actually the most desirable for your ideal clients. Here are a few topic or criteria you can use to see which of your topics is in the most demand. Criteria 1, do people often come to you for advice about this? And is there a problem people often complain about that you know how to solve? If your topic meets either of those criteria, chances are you have expertise that you can sell. So just remember, though, not every outcome that people will pay to achieve is something they actually talk about publicly. So if your topic is something that people don't often talk about in public, here are a few more ways to identify, tongue tripping. Here are a few more ways to identify things that you can coach on. One is problems that you've healed in yourself and others. If you've, say, overcome health issues, if you've overcome relationship issues, if you've learned how to make consistent sales, and if you help others to do the same, then that's an area that you can coach people on because you already know how to achieve this outcome. Others, results that you've created for yourself that other people want but don't know how to get. Like if you've created an amazing marriage or a successful business. If you've created something that, in the average room, the average person doesn't necessarily know how to create, then you've got a topic you can coach on. Remember, you don't have to be the smartest person at this in the whole world or in a room full of experts. You just have to be the best at it in an average room, because the average room is where your clients are going to be. Another is things you enjoy teaching and excel at that can create a positive change in your ideal clients' lives. And there's also a method that I call the topic family tree method, where you basically, if all other criteria fail, you can list out all your topics and then list all the kind of subtopics underneath them that you know about. For example, if you know about relationships, you could list all the things you know about how to create a great relationship. If you know about business, you could list all the things you know about how to create a great business and just see which area you have the most expertise in and the most confidence in. So that's the topic, and I find it tends to end up like a topic family tree. You've got all these different headers, and then you've got the branches coming off of them, showing all the different aspects of them. And you could even kind of make sub branches of them. Like let's say you've got relationships up here, then you could have say how to get married and how to have a healthy marriage into the boxes underneath it, and then see what all you've got under there. So that's why I call it a family tree, because it kind of branches off like that. So those are some methods you can use to pick your candidate topics. But of course, any speculation about which topics are going to be the most tantalizing are only speculation until you actually start putting it out there for feedback. So let's look at how to do that. So to do market research, you first have to go to places where your ideal clients congregate. But here are some places where you might find them: social media groups that cater to your ideal clients, forums, subreddits, especially ones that are geared towards sharing tips and solutions, offline groups such as groups for new mothers, the comment sections of coaches who are teaching on topics similar to yours, their social media, YouTube, TikTok, basically anywhere where people who are looking for the type of information you provide are congregating to share or learn about that information. The one I particularly focus on is Facebook groups. The things to keep an eye out for are people saying, "Oh, I needed that advice," or "I have or had that problem." People asking questions you can answer. Make note of what kind of content people are engaging with and what they're saying they need, and pay attention to the exact phrasing people are using for this, because the more you can use their phrasing, the more that A, your content will match their search results, so you're more likely to show up in search engines, and B, people are more likely to immediately relate to what you're sharing. If you can basically take the words out of their mouth, they're going to go, "Oh, wow, that's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I need." So take careful note of their phrasing. So here are some ways to get more in-depth info. For one thing, focus on groups where you're allowed to reach out via DMs. You can get feedback within the group, but the DMs are going to give you more options for actually networking with people and getting feedback from them. Establish yourself as an authority in the group by sharing useful advice in your own post and in comments. Now, different groups are going to have different rules regarding self-promotion. There are a lot of groups where you can share a value without actually sharing a call to action. But just sharing the value will help to make you more visible, will make people want to reach out to you. And if you reach out to them, then they're more likely to recognize you and trust you. Now, if other group members ask questions that are in your area of expertise, answer their questions. And once again, notice what kind of content people respond to and engage with. And so once you've done that, establishing yourself in the group, and especially if it's a group that allows you and encourages you to ask questions, ask for feedback on stuff like the proposed names of your coaching program. If people's feedback on those names, you look at the actual intention behind the feedback too. You might notice problems that they are mentioning or outcomes that they want that you can add more focus to, because now you know what they want. People's biggest challenges in your area of expertise, you can ask about that. And ask them if they could wave a magic wand, what outcome would they want to create in your area of expertise? So depending on the group's rules, you might be able to make a post that says, "I'm doing research on," add 1 or 2 sentences about what you need to know. "And I need so-and-so number of people to help me out. If you could jump on a 15-minute Zoom with me so I can ask questions, nothing for sale, please DM me. Thank you so much." And I should emphasize that if you're saying there's nothing for sale, honor that request. Even if they are interested in your product, don't sell to them on the DM or on that market research conversation. Book a follow-up call. So when people engage with your posts or comments, reach out to them via DM if the group's rules allow it. Tell them how you met. Don't just send out a generic invitation with no explanation, or send them a generic, "Hey, I loved your profile." So many spammers do that. You will blend in with the spammers, and you do not want that. So you could say, "Hey, thanks for liking my post," and name of the group that you're in, or "I loved your post," and once again, name the group, and then tell them what you liked about it. Be specific, because once again, spammers have a tendency to try and fake engagement, like, "Oh, I loved your profile, I loved your post," but they're just saying that. They haven't actually read anything. So showing them that you actually read it They'll set you apart and show them that you're an actual person engaging with them, not some bot reading a script. So you can follow this up with the following script. I'm working on putting together a coaching program on insert your topic. I was wondering if you could help me by answering some questions about what you need to know. Insert what you need to know, like the challenges people run into, like when they're seeking their soulmate, or the problems people run into when trying to attract clients, whatever the problem is that you're solving. Then ask, would you be able to jump on a 15-minute call with me? There's nothing for sale. This is just to help me better understand how to help people. So you might want to, if applicable, you might want to offer something in return, like say a free coaching session or a downloadable. But once again, keep your word to them and don't actually sell to them during the market research call. If they express interest in your services, schedule a follow-up. So here are some of the questions that you can ask during the market research call. For one thing, what are the biggest challenges or frustrations getting in the way of them getting the outcome they want? If they could solve only one problem, what is the first and foremost one that they want to solve? What do they not have that they need to get in order to get the outcome they want? What solutions did they try that didn't work, and why did they not work? This is useful because it'll help you to tailor your program to actually give people solutions that would normally be underserved. Like, so say, for example, you're helping people lose weight. If they haven't been able to get success with other coaching programs, then they might be reluctant to sign up with yours because they'll just think, oh, I won't get any results from this. So if you can find out why people aren't getting results and then offer a solution to that obstacle, that'll set you apart and help you to reassure people who would otherwise be too scared to invest with you. So you can also ask what solutions did you try that did help, if only a little, and why was that helpful? That'll help you better understand what is working in your industry and how you can add that in with your own special sauce. Some additional questions are, what solutions do you wish were available, or what would make the process easier for you? Just a second, I need to get a drink. And what are or were your main goals and desires when trying to get this outcome? What problems do you think it would solve for you if you achieved this outcome? If you could magically create your ideal outcome, what would that outcome look like if there were no limits? What will the impact be on your life and the lives of the other people affected, like your family or clients, if you achieve this ideal outcome? And why is it important to get this result soon? That last question helps you to get an idea of why it would be urgent for people to get this instead of just, I'll get around to it when I get around to it. So all this will help you to understand what people want, why they want it, and how getting it or not getting it will affect their lives. You can only use all this to choose your topic and in your marketing materials later on. So now you have a strategy for choosing your topic. Next, we're going to focus on creating your offer. By the way, sorry these screens aren't full screen. And this is my first time using this program for a masterclass. I totally forgot to see how to make it full screen, and now I ran out of time before the masterclass, so now I'm just doing the best with what I have. So yeah, I'll have to try and have this more polished next time. But anyway, on to creating your offer. For one thing, what are the biggest, if you start out by listing, what are some of the biggest challenges or frustrations getting in the way of people creating, oh wait, I'm sorry, I've got the wrong slide here. Technical difficulties, y'all, sorry about that. Anyway, start by listing the steps that your clients will go through in the order in which you'll go through them. So it's an example from my own work, choosing the topic, deciding what information to include in the program and organizing it, fleshing out that information into easy to follow instructions for the clients, motivating the clients to actually consume and apply those instructions so it doesn't become useless shelf help, and helping the clients understand when and how to use those instructions. So let's look at the first step you thought of, and then break it down into specific actions people need to take to create that step. I'll use choosing a topic as an example here. To choose the topic of your program, you need to determine which topics you have expertise in, narrow it down to which topics you know you can create results in, and see which of those topics your clients want. So those are the first two steps of you creating your coaching program, is choosing or if you outline your coaching program, is listing the steps that you take and then breaking it down like this. So one of the first steps I ask my people to take is choose the topic, and then I break it down in step-by-step processes like I just did with creating or choosing a topic in this masterclass. So yeah, take each step that you write down after you list all the steps that your clients are supposed to go through. Take each of those steps and break it down into sub-steps. Now, at this stage of the process, you don't need to be super duper detailed. You just need to list the sub-steps. We can flesh that out later. So you might even take a step further and break down the individual sub-steps into different things, into the separate components. So for example, the which topics do your clients want got broken down into further action steps like polling the community, doing market research calls, noticing what people ask for advice about. And of course, each of those has its own set of action steps in and of itself. So as you can see from the steps we've taken already, this is a quick way to A, get a bird's eye view of what you know, and B, quickly discover this huge breadth and depth of information that you have. You start out with this list of steps that people go through, so now you know exactly what order to put the steps in. But then as you break it down into sub-steps, into the specific action steps that it takes to perform those sub-steps, into the specific action steps that it takes to perform each of those sub-steps, you actually end up seeing that you have an incredible detailed knowledge of this subject that people in the average room probably don't have. So once you've created this list, broken it down, it's time to make it actionable. So I'm going to tell you the 4 elements that it takes to make your stuff really actionable for your ideal clients. Element 1 is motivation. What is the sub-step and why do they need it? Give them context so they can understand and implement it. Because if you're just giving orders and people don't understand why you're giving the orders you're giving, they might not be motivated to actually act on it, or they might act on it in a way that doesn't actually fulfill the intention behind it. They might be following the letter of the law, but not the spirit of it, and not actually get the results. This is especially important if your clients might say, that sounds like too much work. I'm not sure this step is necessary. I think I might already know how to do this. I don't understand why I need to do this, or I don't understand why I have to do it like this. So if people might say those things, then that's a really good time for you to tell them why they need to do it and why they need to do it the way you describe, as then they'll understand that they need to do it that way. Element 2 is a clear idea of when and how to use the step. What situations would they use it in? What are the principles behind it, the reasons why it works the way it does? What are some pitfalls to avoid? What are the best practices? And I suggest giving people examples of people using it, whether real or fictional, because when people's brains are wired to process stories. So if you can give it in story form, they can better understand what it is and how it works and contextualize it in a way that they can actually see themselves acting upon. So yeah, element 3 is a specific exercise. This is one of the biggest differences between advice that I've found useful and advice that's just, oh, great. Well, I'm no further ahead than where I was. You've told me what to do, but not how to do it. So the specific exercise, you don't just tell them what to do, tell them exactly how to do it, step by step. Like imagine if you were explaining it to an alien who'd never even heard of it before. Now, I'm not saying be condescending, but be thorough. Assume that they're starting from zero and walk them through every single aspect. Don't assume that they know any of this already. Better to over-include than under-include. And scripts, templates, and recipes can be especially helpful for showing them exactly what to do. And the more you can take the guesswork out of it, do the work for them, let the work be done with your expertise instead of their guesswork, the faster and easier they'll get results and the more value they'll get. So element 4 is integrating earlier lessons. If you only mention something once, people can really easily forget it. So periodically recap. You don't have to do it constantly, but wherever it's applicable, just show people how earlier lessons tie into current ones. For example, if lesson 1 covered the marketing message and lesson 5 is about email marketing, you could recap lesson 1's marketing message lessons when explaining how to write your email's call to action. So once you've written all this down, I want you to take some moments to appreciate just how much you actually know. Because like I was mentioning earlier, you just broke this topic down into incredible detail. And this level of detail, yeah, maybe people can find a few scattered pieces of information about this on the internet, but to actually have this whole system that you made with this process in the level of detail that you have, with the knowledge you have of the best practices, the pitfalls, the examples of how to use it, the order in which to do it, the mindset behind how to do it, this level of detail and this kind of organized system is something they can't replicate from random social media posts and articles. And it's something the average person in the average room probably doesn't know. This is your special expertise, and that's what makes you an expert that they need help from. I want you to just take a moment to really recognize just how much of an expert you are and that you have good reason to be confident in your expertise. So, another way to boost your confidence is just to look where you started and how far you've come. If you're in business, where were you start? Where did you start in business, and how far have you come? What kind of results have you gotten in building your list, or in helping clients, in getting consistent leads, in whatever you've succeeded in business, in relationships. Were you struggling to find love, feeling unwanted, and then go from that to having an amazing marriage? Whatever your area of expertise is, look at where you started before you knew what you know now, and look at what you've achieved. You are your own first testimonial. So now let's look at how to actually sell your expertise. To start with, talk about the primary problems and benefits. And it's very important to talk about them in terms of the actual symptoms people experience, not the root causes that they might not even realize they had. One example I like to use, the guy I'd heard of who had horrible, debilitating stomach aches after eating bread. But if you offered him a cure for celiac disease, he'd have turned you down because he had no idea he even had celiac disease. So why would he want a cure for it? But if you'd offered him a cure for horrible post-bread stomach aches, he'd have been all over that because that was something he knew he had. So when you're talking about the primary problems and benefits, be really specific about the symptom, or not, like be focused on the symptoms, but focus on what they know they have, and paint a picture in such clear, experience-oriented terms that they actually see and feel and hear and smell themselves being in this situation. You want to tie it into the experiences they actually have in real life. So these primary problems and benefits are going to be things that you learned about in your market research that we discussed earlier. What are the main things that people are thinking about and talking about? What are the main things they want to solve and the main benefits they wish to achieve? But another important aspect of your marketing and of helping people to understand why it's important for them to actually work with you is the side problems and benefits. So let's say, for example, you're a relationship coach. You help people who are married and who are struggling to stay in love. They're maybe fighting a lot. They're feeling stressed all the time. Obviously, the primary problem and benefit is that their relationship is struggling and they want to have a really happy, secure, healthy, loving relationship. But these relationship problems are probably also causing side issues, like maybe the stress in their home is causing them to struggle at work. Maybe they're feeling unmotivated. Maybe their spouse isn't supportive of their business that they're trying to start. And this could be really holding them back in terms of career, making an impact on the world, making money, making their business succeed. In the area of time, they might be spending a lot of time arguing about things that they don't want to be arguing about, or stressing about things, reading relationship advice that doesn't work. Another area is health. The stress might be negatively impacting their health. Maybe they're not eating healthy because they're not collaborating to have healthy food options on the table. Maybe they're self-medicating to avoid the stress of it all. Heck, they might even be turning to alcoholism. So what are the effects in the areas of their health? So there's these few categories that you can look at: time, money, relationships, health, lifestyle. I suggest looking at all those to see what are the areas in which your clients are suffering. Even if those aren't your primary focus, they're still areas that are impacted by the area that is your primary focus. And this can help your clients to understand, wow, this is affecting me in every area of my life. This is something that I really need to deal with. This is something that I need to take care of ASAP. And you don't necessarily want to focus on these side things all the time, because once again, you want to focus on the things that your clients most think about. But you can also make posts about, here are some other effects that this problem could be having. Here are some other ways in which your life will improve if you solve this one area. And during your sales calls, you can help people to explore these impacts on their lives to understand, how much of a priority is this for them. The point isn't to bully them into wanting to work with you. It's to help them to make an informed decision. And as with the primary problems and benefits, you want to focus on describing this in terms of the actual experiences people have. Like one example I've heard from my marketing mentor, Brenda Normand, was don't talk about how they'll lose weight. Talk about how they'll fit into their favorite pair of skinny jeans again. Losing weight is, somewhat tangible, but still relatively abstract. Whereas putting on those jeans and actually being able to fit into them and, being welcomed back into your favorite pairs of or favorite sets of clothes, that's really specific, tangible, something they can actually see themselves doing. Another drink, my water is empty. So another thing to focus on is what is the best and highest benefit, with the biggest problem and the best and highest benefit. I have a bit of a typo on that slide, but now, understand that this isn't what every single one of your clients is going to get, but what is the absolute best outcome that people could get if they work with you? For example, let's say you're helping them with their website. They could help hundreds of people to have an incredible life because hundreds of people came to them. They could make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year by helping people. They could transform the lives of not only their clients, but the people their clients impact. They could create an amazing lifestyle for themselves and their families. They could give to charities that they want to support. So what are the best things that could happen to them because of what you're teaching them? And I'm not telling you to pretend that all of your clients are going to get this. I don't want you to ever lie to your clients. But while being honest that this is only tell them this is what you can get if you fully implement this. And if this is the best outcome that you can get. Not everybody is going to get this, but this is the best possibility that you're going to be opening yourself to if you work with me. Yeah, I hope that was helpful. Now you know how to select your topic, how to do market research to make sure that your topic is actually viable and that people are actually interested in it. You know how to find out what people are actually struggling with, what's holding them back from investing in coaching programs, what would motivate them to actually work with your group and to get into your coaching program. And you know how to outline your content, how to how to add the 4 elements that will actually make people able to implement and benefit from your coaching program. And one bonus element I'd like to add is I strongly suggest having ways to celebrate their milestones and to track those milestones. This has a couple of benefits in terms of, for one thing, people will be more aware of how much progress they're making. And when they're aware of the progress they're making, that'll help motivate them to stay in the game and keep actually implementing it instead of getting discouraged and stopping. And for another, it'll help you to get a testimonial because as you're tracking their results, you'll have a record of their results and then you'll be able to kind of help them have this before and after picture of, hey, before I worked with this coach, here's what I was struggling with. And after I worked with this coach, here's how I was benefiting. So they'll be able to really see how you help them and be more inclined and equipped to give you an amazing testimonial. So that's how you choose a topic, that's how you outline your program, and that's how you can describe your program in a way that makes people want to buy it. Now, there will come a point where you'll have to talk about the logistics of your program, but I don't recommend starting with that. Start by hooking them in with talking about the actual benefits they're going to create, because people don't really care how your process works until they know what benefits that process is going to get. If you just tell people, hey, get on my boat, they're going to, why the heck would I want to get on your boat? I don't even know where you're going. But if you tell them, hey, are you going to Jamaica? You want to have a vacation in Jamaica? Here's my boat, and here's why my boat is the best way to get to Jamaica. Well, now they understand that they're going on vacation to somewhere they want to go on vacation to, and that you're actually helping them to get this vacation that they want. So once again, focus on the benefits. You can mention the problems, but I suggest starting with talking about the benefits because then you're making yourself appealing to people who are focused on solutions instead of problems. Still mention the problems, but start by focusing on the solutions. So if you need any help with this, I would be happy to have a free breakthrough session with you. In fact, let's do a little exercise. So I'm going to move away from the slides for a moment. I'm going to, confession time here. I actually totally brain farted on the slides for a bit. I was so busy with creating so many things. I brain farted on making the last few slides. So I'm actually going to have to switch back to my script for this. So my apologies. I'm going to have to be a bit more prepared next time. My apologies for the brain fart. So I'm going to stop screen sharing for now. Not that you're really going to need the slides for this next part, because you're going to be wanting to focus on writing things down in your text processor. So let's check out what your next steps are for creating your coaching program. So we know what your next steps are that you need to do, and what any gaps that you might have standing between you and being able to complete this process so you can start getting paid to change lives. So please be ready to write down the answers to these few questions. So either you can write yes or no or maybe. So number one is, now that you have the foundation of your marketing message, do you know where to share that message so your ideal clients can see it and use it to get clients? Yes, no, or maybe. So I'm going to give you a moment to write that down. Do you know where to share your message so your ideal clients can see it? Okay, hope you've got your answer written down. So do you know how to design all your program's content, including any bonuses you want to use to increase the program's value and your clients' results, and how to fit the actual process of creating that content into your schedule? Yes, no, or maybe. Okay, so have you answered whether or not you know how to design all the program's content, including the bonuses, and fit it into your schedule? Got that written down? So number three, do you know how to choose the best price and method of delivering your program, whether it's group coaching, one-on-one coaching, a hybrid of that, and how to launch your program so you can start changing lives and making money as soon as possible? So go ahead and write down yes, no, or maybe. And finally, do you feel that you can figure all of this out and stay in action if you do it all by yourself? Yes, no, or maybe? If you answered yes to most or all of these, awesome. You are well on your way to having a huge, brilliant impact on the world. And you're also on your way to creating an amazing business, getting paid for doing what you love and changing lives. But if you had a lot of no or maybe answers, I want to help you with that. So as a thank you for dedicating your life to making the world a better place, and for joining me in this masterclass, and for being willing to put in the time and work to grow your business, I want to give you a free one-on-one 60-minute breakthrough session. So during that session, we'll get clear on the gaps between what you have in place now, what you already know, and what you need to know or put in place in order to succeed. We'll also determine some concrete action steps so you can start bridging those gaps and creating a coaching program that sells. And we'll determine whether it would be a good fit for you to join tongue tripping. Just going to take out a quick drink. So we'll determine whether it would be a good fit for you to get in-depth, step-by-step personalized support in my 20-week coaching program. The program is called Program Creation Made Easy: How to Create and Sell Your First Coaching Program. And by the way, people who sign up for that program this week, as in before midnight or before 5 o'clock on Friday, March the 8th, can get a $250 fast action discount on the program. So I know some people say that you should only have this open for a couple days, but I want to give you plenty of opportunity to actually get onto the breakthrough session, to also get any other decision makers in your household onto the breakthrough session, so we can discuss this and you can make a fully informed decision. Because I don't like those rush tactics, run to the back of the room and buy my shit. I've fallen for those before and was never happy about it, so I don't want to do that to you. I want you to be able to think this through and come to an informed decision that you're happy with. And whether or not you join the program, I want you to be able to walk away from this breakthrough session with clarity and confidence about the next steps you want to take to create and sell your coaching program, and about whether or not joining my coaching program is right for you, so you can start building wealth and changing lives as soon as possible. So if you want to know more before you book a call, so you can see why it's worth your time, I'm going to get some testimonials up here and let these people explain it for me. So I'm just going to pull up a testimonial and show you what other people have to say about my coaching. I'm just going to hit screen share again.
I just want to give a quick shout out to Stephanie O'Brien. When I booked a call with her, I was working on outlining a coaching program that I was putting together. And I wasn't sure on the content that I had created. There were gaps in the program and I wasn't sure how to fill them. And Stephanie, like literally within the first 10 minutes of that call, Stephanie helped me figure out how to fill in those gaps in a way that was meaningful to my students, that helped really solidify the teaching and really help them start getting results right away. She also gave me advice on how I can help my potential clients to better understand what I'm offering and how to help my current students get their questions answered faster. It was a phenomenal coaching call. I highly recommend, if you haven't talked to Stephanie about your program, highly recommend it. She has got so many tips and tricks in her back pocket. I don't even know where to start. So give her a call, reach out to her. Highly, highly recommend her.
I also like to share Sherry Danzig's testimonial.
So Stephanie and I just had a coaching session, and quite frankly, I was a bit fluttered and flustered when I first started because I'm getting ready to go on a trip. I'm going to be gone for almost 2 weeks. And so what she was able to help me do was to identify what a challenge that I'm having, which I think is often with entrepreneurs, is how to use your time most effectively. And so she was able to help me identify by asking some really good questions of what was what were the most important things that I wasn't scheduling that I needed to schedule, and then offering some strategies to put some things in place so that I can start, first of all, get clarity of what were the things that would most move the needle, so to speak, in the projects that I have going. And secondly, how to create a system and some strategies to actually put them into action. So that was super helpful. So I really appreciate that focus. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. I hope you have an awesome day.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thanks for your.
Oops. So as you can see, I'm going to stop sharing now. So as you can see, for people who are struggling to fill in the gaps in their program, who aren't sure what activities to prioritize, who aren't sure how to organize the content in their coaching program, that's an area I specialize in. Like I said, I've been writing novels and writing nonfiction books for like 20 years now. So I have a lot of experience in helping people to take the huge amount of data that's in your head and organize it into a way that can get people amazing results and that people can easily follow from point A to point B. So if you want to know, or if you want to get your coaching programs created as soon as possible to start getting paid to change lives, I'd be happy to get on that breakthrough session with you. So I'm going to, with the replay, I'm going to put this, put my Calendly link. You can also email me at stephanie@coachclientconnection.com. That's STEPHANIE@coachclientconnection.com. Or my Calendly is Calendly/Stephanie-O'Brien-coaching. So I'm going to put a link with this video once I've uploaded it. And then you can just click the link to schedule your breakthrough session. So we've got a bit of time left. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to take your questions now. And once again, I apologize for the technical messiness. I had some slides ready, and then I added some additional information about marketing, and I totally brain farted on adding the additional information to the slides. So yeah, apologize for the technical messiness. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, yeah, it doesn't look like we've got any questions. So hey, good news. This is actually going to take up less of your time than I thought. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope to see you soon on the breakthrough session. And I hope that you have an amazing day. Get out there and change some lives.